Good evening, everyone. This is an exponential line. As you can see, it always increases. There's no dips, and the rate of increase also increases. This is an illustration of entropy. The concept of entropy is defined by the second law of thermodynamics, which states that the entropy of an isolated system always increases or remains constant. Entropy is the only quantity in the physical sciences that seems to imply a particular direction of progress, sometimes called an hour of time. As time progresses, the entropy of an isolated system never decreases. Hence, from this perspective, entropy measurement is thought of as a kind of clock. Since a finite universe is an isolated system, the second law of thermodynamics states that its total entropy is constantly increasing. It has been speculated since the 19th century that the universe is fated to a heat death, in which all the energy ends up as a homogeneous distribution of thermal energy so that no more work can be extracted from any source. What's being described there is a one-way journey. Here we have a one-way journey. The problem with this theory, and entropy is only a theory, is that it's not a dynamic system. You can't technically analyze this. Even though it functions as a clock, you can't produce any technical analysis. It only has one direction. It has no dynamic property. If we go over to a Wikipedia page about the 2012 phenomenon, if we go down to, it should be somewhere here, time wave zero in the I Ching. Don't have time to go into this in great detail, but this is the closest thing I've found that opposes the idea of entropy, and it's Terence McKenna's idea of novelty. Time wave zero is a numerological formula that purports to calculate the ebb and flow of novelty, defined as increase over time in the universe's interconnectedness or organized complexity. According to Terence McKenna, the universe has a teleological attractor at the end of time that increases interconnectedness, eventually reaching a singularity of infinite complexity in 2012, at which point anything and everything imaginable will occur simultaneously. If we look at a simple screenshot here, I don't have time to go into how this was produced. Terence McKenna's theory states that the universe is a product of, or is working through, a dynamic play between novelty on the one hand and chaos on the other. This means that the universe is dynamic. There are times when novelty peaks. There are times when chaos peaks. And we can do technical analysis on this. We can say that at the top here there's a cap on novelty. We can say that there is a general trend down presented here. This is a dynamic system. In Asian philosophy, the concept of yin-yang, which is often referred to in the West as yin and yang, is used to describe how polar opposites, or seemingly contrary forces, are interconnected and interdependent in the natural world, and how they give rise to each other in turn. Opposites, thus, only exist in relation to each other. Yin-yang are not opposing forces, but complementary opposites that interact within a greater whole as part of a dynamic system. Everything has both yin and yang aspects, as light cannot exist without darkness, and vice versa. This, again, describes a universe, a closed system, which is dynamic. And more importantly, it is different from the Western idea of duality in that these opposites require each other and are in constant succession and commingling. And if one were to plot their dynamics over time, it would produce a graph that goes up and down. This describes a dynamic universe. Thermodynamics does not. Moving on, this is the weekly chart of the euro-dollar pair. As you can see, far back as it can go is May 2006. We're in a downtrend. We are just about to, it seems, just about to roll over. It's looking pretty clear that we could touch at least back down to 1.2. The last few days, we dipped down to a low on the 4th of October, 1.3146 dollars to 1 euro. Since then we've retraced, the euro has been bid up and we've given back over 50% of those gains. We may go back up to test a channel which forms along the top here. So that would come in at around 1.36 to 1.37, but anything can happen. I feel the market, though, is more skeptical towards the euro, and so that's the one that will experience the kind of the bank run first. The whole thing will be blamed on speculators, of course, but there you go. What this represents is a dynamic system. Rather than yin and yang, or novelty and chaos, we have euros and dollars. These aren't just currencies, these represent two facets of reality. They represent ideas, aspirations, and those ideas are embedded by the designs on the banknote, how they communicate themselves. And ultimately, because money is worth the paper that it's printed on, that is the source of the confidence that people place in it. The fact that this is a recognizable product means that I can go into a shop and buy what I need with it. What we're witnessing playing out here is a tug of war between two sources of confidence, and ultimately two facets through which many people in the world organize their lives. As I mentioned before, I do expect the euro to touch this line and possibly go further. That would be my long-term target. I would remain short here. Obviously, in these conditions, we could see some pretty violent up moves just to keep people on their toes, but the trend is down. The long-term trend is down. And I do expect the euro to last as a tradable currency another 6 months and no more. In the end, I think both of these facets will fail as confidence in the fiat money system is slowly eroded in the next 6 to 12 months. And I'll be doing an update pretty soon. Thanks for watching.